we'll call upon the people that actually signed in so that they can have it. That's how we do it.
You're putting way too much pressure on me to
Any
stay
other
out of
board
the way.
comment?
I'm good.
You're good. How you doing, man?
Not too
Thanks
bad. How are
everybody
you?
for coming. It's
Yeah.
so nice to see so many faces.
All right.
I thought it was an election.
I know, it's like I'm going, yeah, I don't know where all you guys are parked, that's what I'm wondering, when you don't want to come to an election, up and down the road or what?
Derek, you wanna sign in?
I mean, not really, but I will.
If you wanna speak,
You gotta
you have
speak,
to
you gotta
sign in.
Hi Amanda. Honey, you guys need chairs, and wanna come sit down, just wanna make a space. Hello.
Kyle's here. Kyle and Savannah.
You want chairs?
Are you gonna speak? You gotta sign. Well, you gotta sign in if you're going to. Come on, get up there and sign in. You have something to say. We know this.
I don't have anything to say. You know. I'm good. I
Okay,
said,
anybody who
I'm good.
wishes
Thank you,
to
though.
speak will have 2 minutes.
You guys, there's chairs in there. You guys want.
As a courtesy to those speaking, there will not be any background conversation. Only the person who wishes to speak will have the floor. So this will speed things up. Everybody will get an opportunity. When you wish to speak, give your name and address. So,
You got approval of the agenda first, so.
okay.
Thank you. Moving right along.
Get ahead, yeah, moving right along.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay,
Support.
Okay, good, thanks, Jim. We're
any
good to go.
further discussion? All in favor? Aye, thank you. All
Thank
right,
you.
now, public comment.
All right.
Can I go first, cause I'm the elephant in the room,
Works
so.
for me.
Certainly.
I'm here to address some stuff.
Name and
I'm
address,
Norma
please.
Schweiderson, my home address is 240 East Huron, my rental is 2325 South Swenson Road. Oh, not
Thank
two,
you.
never mind, that's the campground. 1882 South Swenson.
Thank you.
So, there was posts on Facebook that, not one thing was true except for our names and our address.
Check them in.
There's not 30 immigrants, illegal or otherwise there. And to be labeled an immigrant, you can be an American citizen and you're still an immigrant if you're here for less than 12 months' time. When the rest of the group comes, I don't know if it's gonna be here, but here is the indoor grow. They're here for 12 months, they don't have to have a permit. I don't have to have a permit to house them. Usually, typically, permits are done by the farmers, not by the people where they're staying, number one. Number two, because they're year-round, it's considered their legal address, we don't need a housing permit. Number three, I was accused of hiding something because I was upset about what was posted on Facebook. If you looked at the stuff before it was deleted, there was a lot of hateful rhetoric and on the edge. One was lock and load. What does lock and load mean? Would you be upset if that was posted about you? I think you would, and I think you had every right to be upset. I didn't post on the Facebook page. I messaged one of the moderators and said, you know, before you post this stuff, can you reach out to the person? Because I could have given you any of the information you want to have. I could have. I'm not hiding anything. But I'm also not going to take you bad-mouthing us like we're bad people when we did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
Thank
One
you.
more thing. The campers, one is my son's. It was in my husband's and his brother's shop. He was repairing the ceiling. It's gonna be at his hunting camp. Roger moved it because he needed the bay. He parked it here. One is a staffing company. That's not staying here. That's going to Bay County. The other one is my mom's, which is in my name, and that's going to a different location. So we're not housing him in campers. None of the campers are hooked up. It's rumors fly and people get upset. And when it's this hot of a topic, stupid things can happen. That's my point. We need to be respectful and not just throw out things because you think it's going to get people upset. I don't know where number 30 came from. I have no idea.
All right, thank you, Norma. All right,
Already Gates, 1966 South Swenson Road. And as far as the campers, that's not a campground, you say they're gonna be moved now.
They're gonna be moved,
I
they're not staying.
contacted the Board of Health,
That's fine.
and you had not applied for a permit from the Board of Health in order to house anyone there.
I-
And in order for you to house someone, they cannot live in a camper, so that's why they're gonna have to be moved. And they have to be connected to a septic tank and water. So I'm glad to hear that they're gonna be moved, and you're not housing people in these trailers on the property. But you had not applied for a permit from them because it takes 30 days to process it. And she verified that it had not been applied, not just the Board of Health, but with the immigration people who are in charge of the H1N workers.
They're not H1N workers.
Well,
They're-
whatever workers they are. And then to be a US citizen, they have to be able to speak and write English.
So you're talking about Natasha.
one minute. She has the floor.
If I can answer that, you're talking about Natasha with MDART. I talked to her 2 months ago.
They told me you talked to them,
Yes,
but they
and-
also told me you had not applied for a permit.
Because, I can show you the emails, they're indoor grows, there's no permit needed, it's 12-month rental.
But you're not going to house them there, you say, because it's not a campground.
The
You said you're
campers aren't
move
gonna be
them
there, but the migrants are gonna be there, or the
They're gonna live in the
workers.
home, you're
They're gonna live in
saying.
the home, yes, yes.
And what are you going by the rule that for each migrant worker, they get 100 square feet? Is that how you
It's
go by the
less
number
than
of
that,
people?
it's less than that, it's 50 square feet.
So are you willing to tell us in the community how many people you're going to house in that?
And it will depend on what Allison says from the health department.
Okay.
All right,
She's
your 2
doing,
minutes
it's a
are
level
up. Thank
3,
you
so
very
she's
much.
coming out. It'll be
Larry?
9:10.
See if I can get out of this chair. Larry Davis, 2754 Davis Road. Due to the concern of the community and everything else, I would like to see the township board have a special meeting concerning this. I would like to see the township board invite people from the Board of Health, from the zoning authority, from the sheriff's department, and from ICE to see exactly what is going on down here. Norma, I like you a lot, you know that, but I'm not gonna take your word for a damn thing, okay?
That's
Because you're
fine,
making
Larry.
money.
That's
You're
fine.
making money.
That's fine.
Larry
How much
has
are you
the
getting?
floor.
Huh?
Larry
And I
has
shouldn't
the
be
floor.
questioning her. I should be questioning those people that are supposed to be working for us in the community, in the board. This board has done a hell of a job in the township. You've got the roads done, you've got ditching done, you've done a lot of good things. Now we end up with a spillover from marijuana, and these people are more than likely working for the marijuana company.
They are.
And yeah, so, and we're bringing them in for that, we're subsidizing it. They're not paying a dime, and we are as citizens, we are, and that's wrong. And you ended up getting on the bad end of the stick as a board. Those people that are responsible for it, Mike Holdley, the Board of Health, whoever else that's financing this for them, they need to be here. You shouldn't have to be taking the flak for this. You should bring them in.
Can I ask a question? Who's paying for what? The farmers pay for their lodging.
They're paying for their lodging.
The farmers pay for the
Then why
lodging.
isn't it back in their fenced-in area?
They can't put them on where there's a grower, there's a business. They can't house them there. That's Michigan law.
Well, Norma,
That's fine, Larry.
you've really upset the community.
All right,
And-
Larry, you have 2 minutes, thank you. Anybody else? Yes. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Zimber, 2762 East Booth Road. I think everybody here has different opinions, and it really doesn't matter. If things are done within the law, businesses around here, as well as Saginaw, I have personal experience with migrants and immigrant workers. I hired plenty of them. There's not enough workers willing to work. It's all across the United States. Traverse City's big for it. Great town. They bring them in. It's legal to do, and how are our businesses gonna stay open here for people to work if there's not enough workers to keep them going?
Pay a decent wage.
Thank you, Jeff. Nancy, you had your hand up?
Yes, Nancy Sally, 2078 Manor Road. You as a board, upon the concern of outdoor grows going on, had made the decision that you would not allow any further outdoor grows. Our farm has been affected by the outdoor grows by continued threats of the growers across from the property that we farm, that we've been over here for over 150 years. That we get letters threatening our farming business. Now I see here on the agenda, which you said you never dim your personal word. No more outdoor grow and no expansion of that. You knew the potential expansion of the existing cola farms. Now I see the planning commission has recommended to move forward and let them expand that. So is this falsehood, or was the board lying, saying that they were gonna curb the outdoor grow?
The planning commission approved it. It's up to the board to.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, I'm just seeing this on here, that it was recommended,
The board decided that there would not be any new outdoor growth.
or expansion.
No, the expansion was not in the text.
It wasn't a communication, it was a verbal talking, and
Okay,
Jim
but I mean, the
stated.
motion that was passed did not have the word expansion.
Okay,
Just want to clarify that as well.
and the reason I brought that up, because there was talk about expanding what was there,
Sure.
which is infiltrating our livelihood.
Also, isn't it true that they do have permits for so many plants, which they are not at maximum
Right.
plant right now? So, but it's not really an expansion.
Well, they know how much
They-
room they have to grow in when they applied for the permit. So if I go ahead and order 200 fruit trees to plant, and I only have a half an acre to plant them, where does that fall on?
Okay, we'll get to that issue on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you. Anybody else?
If there's no other comments, my name's Derek. I live on Green Drive. I used to work at Cola Farms. What they're doing is an expansion, and that's all I have to say. I was at the planning commission.
Thank
I
you.
wanna sign your paper. I have a question.
You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put your name down for you.
Thank
so. I got we got your email and all that, so,
Okay,
yep, and
Yeah.
that was distributed to the board, so.
was it? Okay,
Yeah.
I have a question though for Norma.
Yes.
Okay, you and I are both parents, our daughters went to school together. I know you can rent to them legally. There's not gonna be a problem, I'm sure, you can do what you want. But would you want that 3 houses down from your daughter?
I would not mind it.
Constant, different people, all the time moving in and out. You would be
For-
good with that?
From my experience, it was not constant different people. It was mostly the same people. And they're here to work, Joy.
Are you
They,
sure that's all? Because my
Listen-
daughter has been accosted, I've had cousins, I've had aunts that have had problems with these people just since last summer. I'm asking you as a parent and a member of the community, please don't let money rule what you do.
and I'm saying,
that's
don't
what
let
you're
prejudice
doing.
rule.
We
When,
grew up in the 80s together. You know what it was like walking through town. My dad had to stop these people.
we.
Migrant workers, old school migrant workers, I'm not racist, I'm not saying everybody's like that. But are you vetting to make absolutely sure?
I don't vet anybody, they come in, it's the
Exactly.
housing company,
So
the
as a
staffing
parent,
company that
please
vets.
Stop.
And I trust their judgment, and I'm gonna say this. Migrant agriculture in the United States is 73% of the agriculture. You're not gonna eat your food without migrant workers.
Right.
They're here to work. An American citizen is considered a migrant worker if they're not here for 12 months. They're here to work. They work, from my experience, they leave at 7 in the morning, they get home at 7 at night, they eat, they shower, they sleep. We don't see them. I mean, we see them on Sundays
Other
because they have it
people are
off.
seeing them in the
Okay.
laundromat and in Dollar General.
Right, and you know what?
But I'm saying, I've trusted you with my child, I'm asking for me to be able to trust you with my child and my grandchildren. Just don't, because
We
there's
had 2
already been
minutes. Thank you,
issues.
ladies. Roger.
Roger Schweiderson and 240 East Huron. Yep, we're the ones doing across the street with the house. We're doing it legally. I'll be honest with you, right from the get-go, I was 100% against this marijuana grow in this whole community. I fought it the best I could, for what I could, but here we are. So now, the people are vetted properly, as was just stated. Yes, they go to the Dollar General, they spend their money there. They go to the laundromat, they spend their money there. They got 2 vans that are take them around, so it isn't like they're driving all over, and, you know, threatening people. We've had 2 years experience with them now and haven't had any trouble. So we're trying to go on the experience thing. But I guess what I'm getting at is, if you people want them, they're gonna be here regardless, whether we house 8 people or whatever it is over there, they're gonna be here regardless. Whether you want them living in a tent, like you see on one of the news stations, up and down whatever road or whatever, let's be civilized about it. We're not here to ruin your township, your community. We've grown up here. If we thought it was a threat to this community, we wouldn't be doing it. And I see a lot of faces that live right up and down here. You know, Jared, he's right next door. I understand everybody's concern.
We just wanted to make sure it wasn't illegal border crossers being housed
No.
instead of the legal green card carrying, visa carrying. That's fine. That's been going on forever. What we see in the news today about what's going on in this country, and yeah, we got a right to be. You know,
Absolutely. You got
we
everybody.
We gotta worry.
Everybody's got the right to worry about it. We're just trying to extinguish what.
Okay, so there's
What's
been
going on?
multiple reports. I don't
One
know
at
if
a
to the
time.
police station or not.
Roger has the floor.
Okay.
Okay, so, I guess back to that, our experience, and again, we're not here to break the law, we're not here to ruin your community. And back to Larry's comment about making money, okay? We all stood up here and pledged allegiance to the United States. Isn't that what it's about? The American dream to make money here? I mean, don't hold that up against us. I could hold that against any one of you in this room.
All right, thank you, Roger.
My name Mullen. We're actually new to the community, just recently moved in.
Would you come up closer, please?
Sorry. I just had a quick question for Roger. To be honest with you, is just the vetting question. The agency that you guys vet your workers through, do you have the ability to ask them what their credentials are, or is it just all, yeah, no, here they are, we promise they are, or can you ask that, I guess?
I have a very
And
good
I've
relationship
camped at
with
your
her.
guys' campgrounds, we spent a whole summer there.
You
I'm
did.
not here to
Is-
ask about names, but I am a concerned citizen. Can you ask your vetting agency,
Maybe they'll
like, where they're getting these
Chris
people?
can answer that question.
And if they are return customers, I trust you guys 100%.
Thank you.
Hold on a minute. Can Chrissy, can probably answer that better.
Okay.
For
She's
one,
part of
when
that.
you got employed in your job, did you have to show your ID and social to someone else to make sure that you?
Yes, ma'am, I do every day.
So who? Look, I'm just telling you. okay?
Absolutely.
I live here.
Every time.
We can't get hired without that.
Okay, listen.
One at a time.
Ma'am, my current position, I have to carry my identification with me 24/7 around my neck.
I think she's trying to say that they have IDs.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree, that's what I'm asking, but
You can't.
maybe this would clear it up for the room. I'm not here picking sides at all.
Chrissy, he's just
It is-
asking,
they're
he's
vetted.
just asking if they're
They use the
vetted
same people
properly.
every year.
Of course.
Okay,
So they know that.
yeah.
And he's asking, is that information available to us as well?
If you want it, yeah.
Okay. Or maybe,
Or to
maybe,
anyone.
maybe that should
To
be,
anyone, because I.
maybe
told
that
the
should be
board
information
before.
to the board.
I've given them my number. If anyone has any questions, they can call me.
Perfect,
I have
ma'am.
no problem with that.
Yes, like I said, I'm glad you guys are here, to be honest with you. I'm glad
answer your
you,
question?
yes, it did.
One at a time. What was your name, sir?
My name is Joseph Short.
Okay, welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Just real quick question, in your marijuana zoning ordinance, isn't it part of it, and I haven't read it in a while, and I'd like a copy of your zoning ordinance and the marijuana ordinance, isn't it there a segment in there into which all these facilities must provide the name of the workers, of the individuals that are employed?
No,
No?
no.
I thought it was.
No.
Is how everyone-
Only the contact information, who we contact, who owns it and who the contact is.
Do you have those ordinances online anywhere that people can pull these ordinances
yet.
out?
No.
Not yet, but I can give you a copy of it. I can email it to you for that matter.
Perfect. Great, thank you.
Sure.
Yes.
Patricia Farber, 2668 East Twining Road, Turner. My question that I have for you is, when you say you have different people coming and going, who vets them and how do you know where they're from? No, for the board. How do you know exactly where they're from and if they're criminal or not?
Anybody that comes in here, I accept as a citizen. I don't check their ID, I don't check their driver's license. They come in this hall, they're welcome, and we treat them as citizens. Now, there have been migrant workers in this country for decades. I remember my grandparents down in Flat Rock had migrant workers. There was never an issue. So I don't know why there's an issue.
Well, I guess there's been incidences around the country.
Right.
Grand Rapids with a Chilean gang.
Can't believe every single thing you hear though.
That was from Mike Gruber, who was from Michigan and is a reporter, and I believe his work is credible. Reporting on a Chilean gang, kind of actually murdered a woman and are just stealing.
I think the sheriff's department can tell me that there hasn't been any.
So how do we know that those, I think everybody here is just concerned about their safety.
Exactly, as you should be.
Can I speak
But-
to, when I get a chance?
One moment. I've talked to representatives of the sheriff's department, there's not been any increase
And
in
that was my
crime.
next question. Has there been any incidences or reports?
There's not been any increase in crime, since marijuana or any of the other, outdoor, indoor grow, or all these people. There's not been an increase in crime. The sheriff's deputy, I don't know how familiar he is. I appreciate him being here. If you have any input, I would appreciate it.
No, usually they're not an issue. The only issue that we have with them is people from the community saying, hey, this is suspicious, there's a van full of them, and it's just the people that live around here and work around here. Besides that, there hasn't been any property crimes or violent crimes or anything like that. So,
Thank you.
most of the time it's people
Yes,
from
sir.
downstate coming
You
up.
had your hand up?
Yes, I'm Bill Stokes, and I camp at Norman Rogers' place,
Okay.
and I help them out there, and I've worked with all them guys over there, and I've worked with all the rest of them, and there's never been a single problem with any of them. The only problem we've ever had was a citizen of Gres comes out and pulls a gun on him. So, yeah, maybe you ought to think about that.
Thank you. Nancy.
Real quick, so when you say vetted, they have green cards?
No,
No.
that's an identification.
You're asking me?
Yes.
No, they're American citizens.
Okay.
Or
They
they're
have
on
tax
their work
identification
from a
number.
different state.
Okay, so there's a difference of people when they say they come across the border, you're given paperwork.
But
so you're
even
technically-
if,
I'm
even
just-
if-
Can I talk, ma'am?
Go ahead.
So when they come across the border, you're given paperwork because you're seeking whatever you're seeking.
Asylum.
So, yeah, I was gonna use asylum there, so.
Yeah, true. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. So, just because you have paperwork doesn't mean you still didn't come across the border the proper way and come like, so, given that, that's just the one question. As far as, crime, yes, I did have this conversation with Norma, because that's what she said before in a prior conversation. There's never been. I work in the courts. There was an incident from someone from their camp that the taxpayers had to pay for an attorney to represent them and pay for an interpreter to come in and represent. So, when they say there isn't, there was.
What was the
and
crime?
it was drinking, drunk. So we had to pay for an interpreter and we had to pay for an attorney to represent. So, yes, all of us been drunk, I get that, but don't say there's been nothing when there has. And it's not for something, and just for a side note,
Joy.
just real quick, as a side note, I don't like referring as much as I like proper order, I do not like referring to individuals as they, and they came, and they're doing. They're human beings just like, I don't like the process of them, but I don't like them.
That's a personal opinion though, can we get back to me, cause I don't have a lot
Yes,
of time.
Joanne.
Thank you. Number one, I'm sorry ma'am, when I worked for a marijuana farm, I was vetted. Full background check, everything. If this employer would have thought that anything was on the up and up, he would have gotten rid of me. You guys do a federal background
Can I
check?
answer that?
No, wait, please. Do you guys do a federal background check?
Any marijuana employee has to go through the seed to sale system called Metric, and they have to have a background check, and they're certainly vetted for crimes. And
All
my
over
understanding is,
Michigan?
unless you're a citizen, you can't work at a marijuana facility.
So is it all
We have
states, or is it
followed
just Michigan?
Well, Michigan's only regulated by Michigan
Okay.
for the CRA.
These employees state how,
Marijuana
so
is not
unless
federal.
those crimes follow from Michigan to Ohio to Florida to Texas, back all the way up, that system doesn't mean anything other than that they didn't commit a crime in Michigan.
Look, I told you.
Oh, no, it would be federal. No, I'm sorry. I
Number
thought,
two,
I didn't understand the question.
I'm just making, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just what, that.
Excuse me, I
All right.
correct what I said.
Thank you.
Immigration's federal.
She is.
Number two, and I'm sorry, if this gentleman says, where's your ID, I give it to him. I'm vetted to work in this country, it does not offend me, I'm grateful, thank you.
Thank you.
It's just life, we are vetted in America.
Can I talk? Okay, yeah, if he asked me for his ID, my ID, I would give it to him also. All right, but not any other person. If he came up to me and said, can I have your ID? I mean, come on. And just like everybody else, we have to run background checks on our employees. Everything has to be turned in, their social, their ID, with a complete background check.
Do you check
I mean,
every
do you
state
know
that they've
how,
worked in?
She has the floor.
Do you know how they regulate marijuana here in Michigan?
I do.
Yeah, well, it's really hard to get workers in there. I mean, we've had rejects. So I can tell you that the ones that are working, they passed the background check. You know, they turned in everything they need to.
And you check the last state that they worked in?
All right.
Or you just check Michigan? Is my question.
Federal.
It's iChat. It's federal. I misunderstood your question.
All right, thank you.
It's called iChat.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right, let's move on.
Thank you to my defense.
And it goes well past 5 years. Well past. Yeah, we don't have, just because you committed a crime does not mean you're excluded.
Yep.
It's the type of crime you committed, and you didn't commit the type of crime that excludes you.
Yeah, right. Do all three of them.
But it goes back your entire life. It's a state police
Okay.
criminal history background check. I do all of them for us.
To accept the minutes for
Appreciate
all
you, Wayne.
3 meetings.
Yeah, likewise, Derek.
With the corrections that I have given Michael.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, we have a second to accept the minutes with the corrections as presented to the township clerk. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. Let's pay some bills.
I make a motion to accept, to pay the bills
I'll
as
second.
presented.
We have a motion, we have a second to pay the bills. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Nobody opposed, so
So we can move right on.
move on. Let's talk to the treasurer's report.
All right, you're on.
Treasurer's report as of March 31st, 2024. The general fund, $220,205.49. Road fund, $155,53.74. Water fund, $10,146.94. Ditching, $102,041.58. The trash fund, $104,786.40. The tax fund, $1,449.05. Mosquito, $51,244.31, and marijuana, $71,567.51. Everyone has in their packets in reference to the CDs that we have taken out. We just renewed 2 of them, which would have been the mosquito and the gypsy moth. That would not be on here because we did that the 2nd of the month in April. So those are renewed and rolled over for 6 months. We have a CD in Huntington and Money Market, the Horizon CDs. We just put another 200,000 from the general fund into another CD. So our balance is $1,654,454.94. We do have a risk factor, and that is pretty much for any government entity.
Thank you, Pat.
Thanks,
You're
Pat.
welcome.
I like the way the report comes out now, that is very inclusive. Yep. Especially the little red part.
Outstanding work on your part, I appreciate that. All right. Board reports, All Gres Sims Whitney Fire Board. The fire board meeting was held at the All Gres Fire Hall. Tom Brandamore gave the treasurer's report, which consisted of reviewing the monthly expenses and the monthly income. He talked about the upcoming audit, which will take place the first week of May, and the cost of the audit for this year is $5,000. The fire board did finally receive the $40,000 grant from the state, which will be used to purchase turnout gear and other safety equipment for the firefighters.
Congratulations. Good job, Tom.
The 110-foot ladder truck, Tom reported that the 110-foot ladder truck that was purchased about 4 years ago will be paid off this year. And so we'll start paying on the new truck, which will be delivered in about 36 to 42 months. I never imagined a fire truck costing more than $1 million, but it is. So unfortunately, this fire board is in a position to pay for it. So, Kurt Humrick House had some good news. There were no fire runs during the previous month. So, no down power lines, no runs, no accidents.
That's a rarity.
So that's the first time since I've been on the board. Anyhow, the next fire board meeting will be April 17th at Whitney Township. So that's all I have. Heritage Route.
Do we need to backtrack?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Well, we missed a motion on accepting the
Oh,
treasurer.
I'm sorry. No, shame on me. Fire me. I'm out.
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Support.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Penny. I was
Penny
right
tried to
to
get my attention. I'm not used to a crowd.
Oh, it froze up in front of me.
That's it, yeah. Tongue tied and, all right, shame on me. You sure you don't want to fire?
No, just keep it rolling. All right, so now we got.
No, we're back on track.
The Heritage Route. I attended the depot meeting last Monday, I think. The minutes from last month are in your packets. They're in their packets as well, right, Michael?
Yep.
Okay. May 7th is the Give Local Day. You can go online and give money to the Over Courthouse, the Standish Depot, the Boys and Girls Club, numerous, so I say charitable organizations. You could do it right online. They had, the courthouse last weekend had a mini junk sale and bake sale during the Sucker Festival. They sold over $1,000 in baked goods and about $800 in junk, and we didn't have a whole lot of junk. But I think we did very well. On May 4th, the Standish Sterling bus drivers are going to be parking a bus at the depot that they're going to stuff for donations to the Aranet County Animal Shelter. So if you have anything that you think that they could use there, bring them to the depot, they'll put it in the bus and they'll get it to the animal shelter. So, I'd like to see that bus filled up.
When was that?
May 4th.
And where's it gonna be at?
At the depot.
At the depot,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
And, some of you weren't here last month, but the depot ladies' bathroom had been vandalized.
Oh, yeah.
And they're getting that all back together, it was pretty bad. And Richardson's donated a camera system that they weren't using any longer because they upgraded. So now they have cameras that can see inside the, not in the stalls, but in the entrances to the bathrooms and everything. And it'll hopefully discourage things like that from happening in the future.
Seems to be a record of it.
Yes. Any questions?
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
Standish is gonna have the Loyalty Day
Oh, yes.
parade on April the 27th at noon. It'll start, by the hospital and go over to the, community center. And, usually have a pretty good turnout, a nice parade, and, if you, like parades, I'd encourage you to go, so.
They also, oh, I'm sorry. They also will be starting the farmer's market at the depot, and that is, starting June 14th, ending September 13th. They will have a countywide garage sale as they did last year, June 7th and 8th, so that anyone in the county that wants to participate can kind of, get in on the publicity, I guess you call it.
Thank you.
So, a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
What were the dates on that?
On the garage sale?
Yeah, no, on the farmer's market.
Oh, June, 14th through September 13th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all set?
Yep.
All right, zoning administrator.
Good evening.
Good evening, Art. Good evening, Art.
I'll stand up. I'm not that quiet, I'll stand up. Start with, we got a new permit on the end of Swenson, all the way down at the water. Up off a little private drive there, that's gonna be a new resident for a gentleman and his two younger sons. On Santiago here, I see that Atwater, who's gonna build a new garage, a mud room, and I call it a Florida room, onto his existing house that he bought from his father. And then, Mr. Cantu stopped by my house today. He's building the place up there, that new place up on Booth.
Booth Road?
Okay then. He wants to do a split on the two lots that he just bought. Or he bought one lot, I guess, a big lot, and he wants to split it. I explained to him he has to get with the planning commission and whatnot.
That's a Lola Lane lot, right?
Right.
Lola Lane, yeah, okay. He also complained about our property up here on Santiago. And it's really getting bad, it's falling apart now. You know what I'm
talking about the road?
I know
Yeah,
exactly what
okay,
you're talking
so
about,
that's
yeah.
another complaint, that came to me on that, so, yeah. I also noticed over on Swenson, a new driveway's in, is that put in by consumers?
We believe that it's Killenbeck that did it. I saw
Yeah,
them
Killenbeck did, I
post
drove
that.
by when he was doing it.
Yeah, and that's his property.
Oh, it is, okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right, just wondering.
So I was kinda guessing that he must have had some job with asphalt, and that there was some left over and cut, cause because it's a culvert there, and I thought he's the one that has the culvert sitting around.
That looks like asphalt.
Yeah, it is asphalt, so I thought maybe he had leftover and said, well, we might as well put a driveway in for whatever reason, whenever he's gonna build it or whatever, so.
And, our favorite, one up there that converted the garage into a house, I see they got a mailbox now.
Really?
Yeah. In the driveway.
Yeah. There seems to be some equipment there.
Yeah,
There's
off
been
and on, yeah.
there's been a travel trailer on the
Yeah.
south end of it.
Travel trailers there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've done any building, or it doesn't look
Doesn't look
like.
like it.
I saw some, smoke coming out of that stack a
Yeah.
while back.
But once in a while I drive by and see that, yeah.
Where's this?
Oh, this is, what was Alicia's.
Alicia's place.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yep, alright, gotcha.
And
I'm
that,
thinking that there's somebody there.
that
they're living
doesn't
there.
conform, and they know it.
Yeah. Oh, like I say, they haven't done anything. Also, a lot up on Booth just sold. So I haven't heard any more than that, I don't know what they're intending is, but, they paid a hell of a price for it, I know that much.
Hey, that's a house back there, not a garage. On Swanson, down the road where they just put the mailbox out there.
It was a garage that was brought in and made into a house.
Yeah.
It's way under, it's not even half the size of our
Right, but it's
our
not,
square footage.
it was not legal as a home structure from the zoning point
No,
of
it
view.
was-
That's-
That's right across the street, I'd like to know this. We've had issues there too.
No.
I don't think he's paying his power bill. Sounds like he runs his generator 24 hours a day.
Oh, bummer for you.
So I don't,
As soon as they moved it in, they were informed
Yeah.
that it didn't comply.
So,
thank you.
okay, and one more thing.
Good to see you.
I got a phone call from a couple, I don't know if they're here tonight or not. Dinman?
Dining.
Oh, there you are, there, okay, alrighty.
There you go.
And they're, I guess they put an offer in on 10 acres, and they're concerned about wetland and pond and whatnot.
You got an email, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Good deal, thank you.
And I explained to them they had to get legal on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it zoned commercial or?
No,
It's
no,
residential?
you're the second person that's asked that, and, it's not, that's all.
That goes back to when it was the marijuana, when
Yeah.
Wes, he's talking about the third 10 acre is the one they're talking about.
On Manor.
One beside across from Josie's house.
Oh, the
next
1
to
acre
the
lot
little
there?
house, yes.
Mhm.
And that was the confusion about the commercial came in because at that time, where it was being potentially designated as marijuana property. That was where that comes in, but it is agricultural.
That was, I think there's 3 properties there.
There were 3
The
that
gentleman on,
he split, that West split up.
Gentleman on Bay Ridge has put an offer in on one of those 10 acres.
That's where those 2 fifth wheels are.
Yes.
Yeah, we get
Yeah.
to clean those up if we get the property.
Thank you. Yeah, fun for you. I get
Well,
a discount.
Kane and I, if you give me a minute here, Kane and I talked about that trailer on the next lot where he's building. And he said they drag it out if they want it. The people that are building the house.
That's over on Booth Road.
Tried to buy the lot, and the people ignored them. They wanted that lot plus the one they built on.
Oh, wow.
That trailer's right on the line,
Right on the
over the
line.
line.
Yes. Cantu said, hell yeah, I said, we'll drag it out of there. I don't know what we're doing with it, but.
Yeah. We can get it out of there at last, because it's trapped.
That's it, I'll shut up.
When you were talking about the lot on Booth Road that sold, is that one of those 3 that were designated?
I don't know which one it is. I was told it was just around the second curve, and there's like 2 or 3
Okay.
up there for sale.
Okay, we'll find out.
Yeah,
All right, thanks, Art.
okay.
Cemetery board.
Well, we have asked the tribe for their 2% distribution for some benches to go into the cemetery. Yes, for 4, correct?
Yep, and
Okay.
portrait.
And also, garbage container. And, if we get the grant for that, we'll have, cement bases and then these benches put on them. And they're gonna look similar to the ones in Omer. When you
That
go
are right on
through
the highway,
Omer.
yeah, they're really nice.
They'll be nice and.
And Ed would be doing the cement work for us, so, right.
Yeah.
So we know that he's, how meticulous he is in doing stuff there, that he wouldn't want anybody else to do it. Yeah, so, cool, yep.
Anything else, Dan? Larry, I talked to Dennis Killenbeck this afternoon. He said he talked to you about the amen drain needing to be cleaned out.
Dennis? Yeah, they're going to,
He said you're willing to kick in a couple of $1,000 if we're willing to kick in a couple of thousand.
That's correct.
Okay, I need more details on it.
I'll talk to you about it.
Okay.
If you wanna talk about it now, we can, you know.
Well,
Okay.
I think the board should know.
The board,
go ahead.
The board, as I stated earlier, you guys are doing a pretty good job. A year ago, we had the Court Street blowout.
2 years ago.
Yep, and everybody kicked in together and we were able to get the tube replaced. The 2% paid for quite a bit of it. And then we moved forward and we went up behind the cemetery and everything and cleaned it up and we ran out of money. Now, when we're down to the point by the machine shop again, that's never been touched. and that needs to be cleaned out. And Denny said that he would, do it for $4,000, and I told him that, we would kick in too, and he needed to talk to the township to see if they'd kick in another $2.
Is that one of the quotes that he's got in
Yeah,
there?
he called me at home, and that's how I happen to know about it. He said once he finished, he would level it off and seed it, which
Correct.
would be better than a bunch of trees laying around that we have on the rest of the drain.
That's correct. We can only go as far as the dollar will go. And we got it cleared off and everything, and, for the money that we spent on it, we couldn't afford to bring a chipper in order to chip it. The easement is clear. We've got the brush piles left behind for the critters and all that sort of stuff, and, with what we had for a budget, we did okay in there.
Okay, that's why I wanted to bring it up to the board, because if they feel it's something we wanna do, or that it should be done, we can decide, and then I can let Dennis know.
Okay, the thing with the A-man drain is that mainly for the cemetery and the industrial park back there. And in the past, because there's so few residents, it's always been assessed strictly to the township, the city, and the county.
Okay, all right, thanks, Larry.
Yep.
And has it ever been assessed as a drainage district, or it's just?
It is a drainage district and whatever, but there's hardly any there's hardly any residents in that area.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And so in the past, it's just,
We
other than spending
just all got together and dug the bill for that.
Right.
Okay, I understand.
Instead of spending $6,000-7,000 for a roll, that
Oh,
would,
yeah, we might as well just pay
it
for
wouldn't
that
make any
work.
sense.
Yep, okay, good, thanks for that.
All right. Personally, I think, the more drains we can keep clean and flowing, the better, so.
Does any of this go up for bids?
No, on something like this, all I got was a phone call so far. No, it's just at the discussion right now. All right, thank you, Larry. All right, old business, no old business.
I was gonna put something there, but I didn't have.
All right, new business, Eastern Dust Control.
So you got in your packets there, you got you see the three color for you, how about that? And I kind of colored in, the one on the left is the previous years, you see I highlighted the 3/15/24. That's the current one, the prior one is the one that's a prior year, pretty obvious. And it shows that, this is for, the brining, obviously, and the price gone up $5, price per 1,000 gallons, per application has gone up $5, and the price for the, per, 2,000 gallon, 2-pass application has gone up $10. So it's a minor amount of a raise, I mean, you know, so that's per the amount of that gets used.
Maybe we would do 2 applications
I would,
like we had
definitely
in the
would,
past.
that we have in the past. And last year, it shows on the bottom of this one, it shows how much got used, remember you were asking that?
Right,
And we
yeah.
didn't know what it was actually gonna calculate out, I didn't take time to figure it out, you know, to see that, how much that was gonna be or whatever, so. But we can use that information to calculate it, I just, but so that's what he's got as a choice.
He's been with us for quite a while,
Yeah,
he's done a good job.
There's any reason to change.
Anytime there's been an issue, I call him, he goes back and, puts another application on, so.
I'll make a motion to approve to use the Mylan for Eastern Dust Control again for this year.
Okay,
I'll second it.
we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion in regards to using Eastern Dust Control?
I'll work out those figures so that I didn't even really see those there.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Great.
How much? 15,000 for 2 passes?
And I can refer, I'll refer to what we paid last year, so Dan can check it out tomorrow and see how much we did last year. I know we had them do it 2 different times, remember?
We did, right.
Yeah, because it was just it was such a wacky season that it took forever to get it down, you know, that it
We needed a good rain
graded,
before.
and then the rain didn't happen, and then it would rain, and then it would be graded, and it went on for weeks.
Space Stone Incorporated seeks approval of medical/adult use processor permits. The fire chief, I think, John Snyder is the deputy chief, no, KJ is the deputy.
KJ, deputy.
Yeah. Kurt Humrick, Thomas John Snyder, Mindy, and KJ, no, Carl. Kyle.
Kyle was there. So what we're talking about here, for those who aren't aware of the,
This is the marijuana facility on 23, just west of the, pier.
This is Jeep, the thing that, no, I thought so, but no, he smiled. So what we're looking at, the Space Stone thing is remember, you were here, but you were part of the public hearing. Okay, and neither are you, but I'm not sure, I don't think you were here that long. So the planning commission reviewed the application. It's been going on since last October, and finally they got their stuff together. The people that were involved with the Pure Green facility that is across the street from the pier acquired that property that is next to the pier. And now it's under a different owner called Space Stone Incorporated. And they already have a grow facilities that are there, medical and adult use. We saw it, it was really very impressive.
Right.
And then they have been petitioned to have a processor permit. Okay. So at the public hearing, the planning commission recommended to the board, as it says, that go ahead and approve their permit request. So, and there was condition on two things, was the fire safety in the facility and the storage of the hazardous materials. That were the two things at that. So, with the fire chief and his entourage, you know, it was, they did the survey, they went in and reviewed the thing, and they, according to Jim, you know, I had to leave, I couldn't stay there for the whole thing, but the Humrick House reported that he had no issues at this time.
Right, I checked with the chief yesterday and they don't have any issues with it. The only thing he requested was there was a floor plan in the building. He requested a copy of the floor plan. There's a lot of doors on that building, exit doors. So he asked that they number the doors outside of the building, so if there was ever an issue, they could go directly to.
You know right where it was on the inside, yeah.
And it was there was no odor at all in there.
I was really impressed on how large it was on the inside. It does not.
Anyhow.
Did you? Yeah. All right, so you saw that. So, I guess from the planning commission's point of view, does that satisfy the requirements of the, okay, so with the planning commission recommend to the board with these conditions that have been met, I go ahead and make a motion for us to approve their permit. And that is, the permit is for a medical and adult use processor permit.
Right.
For which they have already paid, the money's been sitting in the door for that, that's $10,000 total. And adult use.
Do we have a second?
I have a question.
You have
Yes.
a question?
Do I need to wait till after you?
No.
Go ahead.
No.
So,
They have to do with the motion, you need to ask questions. Right.
Pure Green sold it to Space Stone Incorporated, is
If-
that? Okay.
The original founders, I would say, of the Pure Green facility, there was some sort of breakup between the three gentlemen or whatever, I mean, the way I understand it, and Ryan Junt was the one that came while we were, board members, and they gave before the recreational had been approved by the voters, they had come in to petition, and remember they had the PowerPoint display and all that, you were on the board then, Pat wasn't. And then that was the gentleman that acquired that, as part of the settlement of whatever breakup that happened, they acquired that facility. So,
That's indoor grow, right?
that is indoor grow.
Indoor, yes. So we have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item C. Planning Commission recommendation for a board approval of Cola Farms expansion request. I have a question. That's a separate parcel? They get a separate tax bill?
That's all on the same parcel, isn't it?
No.
I don't have anything.
It's a separate parcel,
For the
common
separate.
A
ownership,
separate parcel.
Okay, then.
but common
yes.
ownership.
Adjoining.
Yes, they
So
give
if
us
it's a separate parcel, in my opinion, that would be a new application and a new permit. And being it's a new application, new permit, this board said we were not going to authorize any more outdoor growth. We did check it. You want to check it?
Well, sure, I'll go back to the planning commission.
It should go back to the planning commission.
Okay. I agree with that.
And just double check everything.
Right. So I would refer this back to the planning commission for a clarification of whether it's a separate parcel or not.
Whether it would actually be a separate grow because
Right.
of the, yeah, not a separate parcel per
If
se.
it's a
because-
separate parcel,
because
it'll
it's
be a
one-
separate
yeah.
permit,
It's a
or
sketchy,
application and
yeah.
separate permit.
Cause it's a sketchy question, I mean, tricky question in the fact that all of the properties owned by the same. There's two parcels already.
Right.
That are separate, you know, the 220s, I mean, the 210s, so there are already two parcels separate that are allowing the outdoor grow.
But those were approved,
And that's the thing
previously
that-
approved.
Yes, yeah. I
Separately
just
though,
think
they are
that's-
joining and they were separate.
Right.
So,
Okay,
okay, so table it back to the planning commission.
right,
Okey-doke.
okay.
Derek had his hand up.
It's not public comment.
Yeah, that's right, sorry.
We just allow people to interject when they want.
Go ahead, Derek, what's your question?
During the public comment in the beginning, did Nancy Sully not ask about the expansion of Cola Farms? You guys said it was not an expansion, but just now you said this is a request for expansion of Cola Farms.
My comment on the expansion was that the word expansion was not in the motion. That's all my comment was about. I wasn't.
Right, but they are not- how-
Whether it was an expansion or not, my comment was only that the expansion was not in the motion about new growth.
It is. Oh,
Sure.
it is.
Outdoor growth.
It's on the.
So they're not expanding, right? It's not an expansion.
That is to be
Because they already have the, they already have the license.
That has to be clarified.
Since they already
by
have a
the
license
planning
for the plants that they don't already have, they have a license for plants that don't exist. What they're gonna do is get an expansion for these plants that they have a license for that don't exist, and that's not an expansion because we're not expanding.
But we're dealing with a
Nothing to
separate
see here,
parcel
folks.
that has a different.
Nothing to see here, folks, just smoke and mirrors.
Well, thank you, Derek,
All right,
but
thank
I
you for your
understand.
input.